Oh, yay.
Okay, there.
What hobbies do I enjoy doing in my free time? This is a really good question, honestly. The first thing, so I have two corgis at home, Pancake and Waffle, and they are very hyper dog. I take them out on walks a lot. I take them down to Jimmy John's and I get free bacon. And I walk them all the time. But outside of that, I play a lot of video games. I like to cook, and of course, I do voice acting stuff. I mean, that's pretty much what my life is: video games, voice acting, food, and dogs.
I have a side question. What is Jimmy John's?
Oh, Jimmy John's is like a sandwich shop.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
It's like a Subway, but they only serve cold deli sandwiches, and they love my corgis there. They always bring them things outside.
Oh, that's cute.
How did I get started in the field of voice acting? So whenever I was, I think in 8th grade, I actually saw Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers, and Andy Serkis's performance as Gollum in that was what started me on my path to wanting to be a voice actor. I was super interested in it because I had heard his normal voice, and I thought that there is no way that somebody could do that. And so I started doing voice impressions for my friends. I got involved in theater in high school, and that's when I got like the acting bug. I started doing plays and musicals, and then I moved down to Dallas in 2017, and I got my master's degree in acting. And I auditioned for Funimation in 2018, and Cliff Chapin at the time was a director, and he invited me to do like an open audition, and I auditioned for him, and I booked some Walla and Bits in Darling in the Franxx and The Silver Guardian 2. Those were my first two shows I was ever in, and since then I've been in like 250 or something like that. Oh, my favorite blooper. Oh no. Okay. There's one I really want to talk about, but I don't know that I can. Um because it's so recent. It is such a recent one. Maybe oh gosh. For a while when I first started, there were some things that you could they're called bombs in the booth, right? So it's like if there's I knew another actor was coming in, and my character had a reaction to them or had a line. In the olden days, this I only had access to this technology for like maybe a couple months when I started, but I would get bombed by people, which means like they would say like a phrase or something they would try to make me laugh on their recording, and like obviously that's not what made it to the final airing, but that was and I think the funniest thing I ever did, I made like a fart noise. It's so stupid. Bathroom humor always cracks me up. And my character had a big open mouth flap in a show, and I made a fart noise. And that's probably the funniest thing I've done. In like 10 years, I'll be able to tell you something that is very recent, but I can't tell you right now. I don't know how fresh. Yeah, I don't know how like soon I'll be able to talk about it because it was kind of funny how big of a blunder it was. Oh, here we go. Have I read the manga? So I started. I am on like chapter 83 right now. So like I'm really getting into it. I don't know how much spoiler territory I'm allowed to get into for things. Um but I am really enjoying the progression of the character arcs, and I am really excited to see where they end the first season, and where the next, I guess, core, because it's been confirmed for 24 episodes, I think, or is that just a rumor? Okay. Well, that would be dope if they continued it, because I think I'm really looking forward to to the Sky Egg arc that happens next. And then after that, really looking forward to digging into more of number 6 and his different kind of personas he's got. How do I think number 6 would react having super fans of his own? Well, I don't, after reading the most recent chapters, again, like I'm only in the 80s, it feels like he doesn't really care what anybody thinks of him outside of O'Clock. He's very much in it for his own ambitions, and like, yeah, he does answer to All for One and whatnot in the end. Like that's his boss. But he does what he wants. If he's gonna blow up a building, he's gonna do it. So I don't think that super fans would really make him have any strong feelings one way or the other. The only person he cares about liking him at all, to my knowledge, at least where I'm at in the manga, is Knuckle Duster. What's the process of simuldubbing like, and what factors go into choosing what series to release the dub and sub together? Okay, so this is a great question. So at Crunchyroll, we have two kinds of dubs, right? We have a simuldub, which is 2 weeks after it airs in Japan, typically. And then we have what's called a day and date, which means it's the same day release in America, same language option as the same time in Japan. And I prefer day and dates for a lot of things. And that's just because as a voice actor, or as a fan of anime in general, I think if you give the fans to choose between the two options they have available who live in the States, they would probably choose the dub over the sub, because a lot of reason people choose sub is because they have to wait, from the people who I've talked to in the past. So the process of dubbing a simuldub is, we're on a weekly schedule. It doesn't matter if it's the same day and date, or if it's a simuldub. We go in, we have a week to record it, and like that's it. So you have to get all the actors in, you have to get it all mixed, you have to get it produced, you got to get it sent off, all that stuff, and it's got to be posted all within that week time frame. Every studio at Crunchyroll is doing 2 shows a week, typically. So at any time, we're pumping out 24 new episodes of different anime in a week. So that's just in the Dallas studio here. That doesn't include the stuff they do in California and things like that. But that is basically the process. We go in, we don't have any prior information on what the script looks like. We have a script with a screen with a script. We have a screen with the Japanese animation. We give it a listen through once for the little part we're recording. And then the next time we come in, when we watch it again, is when we do the acting. And then the director will be like, all right, I need this faster, this slower, add a little more of this to it. They'll give the direction, and you'll give a new take. And if they like it, they'll keep it, and they'll move on to the next one. My initial impressions of Jingo Raichi from Blue Lock. So I didn't know anything about Blue Lock prior to auditioning. I got called in specifically by Jonathan Rigg, who is the director at the time, who's the director of Blue Lock. And he didn't tell me anything about the character I was auditioning for. He just said, I didn't really even audition. I had sent him my demo, he had listened to it, and he called me in and just cast me as Raichi. So when we got in there, he's like, I loved your demo. Can you do something with a little more shark vibes? And I saw his teeth. I thought that was a really good opportunity to add some like grit and texture into it, because most people with teeth like that have some kind of distinct voice. And for Raichi in particular, he yells a lot at his teammates all the time. And so I thought, you know what? We're just going to give it this kind of like gruff, grit, and we'll see where it takes us. And that's what we went with. And yeah, I really like voicing him. If I could have any quirk from My Hero Academia IRL, what would it be and why? This is a really good one. Actually, I think I know. I think it would be, and just because it's such an overpowered quirk, Star and Stripes ability, I think is one of the most overpowered in the entire My Hero Academia universe, because you can will anything into reality, pretty much. So the amount of things you could do with that quirk alone, I think would make me want to pick that over literally anything else. I was literally just thinking about this. What is my favorite Christmas movie? Die Hard included. I was thinking, is it, it's not really Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off at the very end. Yeah, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Although my favorite Christmas movie, oh, this one's really rough. I have so many because Christmas, Halloween, they're my favorite seasons. Like pretty much when we get to like August, I'm in Halloween mode, and I'm in Halloween mode August through the first part of November. Like Halloween decorations go up because I want to have time to like enjoy them, right? And then Christmas goes up November 1st, and it stays up to like January 5th. My Christmas movie though, I'm a really, really big fan of those. They're not claymation technically. They're more like stop motion. Those old ones from the 60s and 70s, like Rudolph, or Nestor, the Christmas donkey, is a great one too. The whole bunch of those that were made by that company were really good. Santa Claus is Coming to Town has to be my top one though. My favorite vigilante character that is not number 6, Knuckle Duster, 100%. Um, the way that he enters the scene is just so badass. It's like he's like the Batman of this world, and like his sense of justice and his comedy is. I've laughed more times reading this manga than I think anything in recent memory. Knuckle Duster's got to be my number 2. What character has been the hardest to voice? Okay, this is a really good question. Most recently, it's probably it's tossed up between two characters. Actually, 3 characters. Um, Majin Duu from Dragon Ball Daima has been difficult only because he lives up in this headspace that I don't normally go into for things. But by far the most difficult is Stardust from the anime Shy. He's like a British Cockney superhero, and so trying to find the vowel placement and like remembering when there's glottal stops and things, like for a lot of Cockney accents, there's a lot of stuff where you stop talking and you like have to add things in like that. And doing all of that while having to also read the script and try to deliver whatever lines he has in a good way while matching flaps is very difficult. Is there a show I worked on that I wish was more popular? Whoops, dropped something. Or that I got more questions about? Yes. Yes. I feel like there are quite a few good shows that have been like underrepresented, and that's only because they've been backlog dubs. Um, Campfire Cooking and Another World with My Absurd Skill is one of my all-time favorite shows, and I feel like when season 2 comes out, hopefully we're doing a simuldub release with it. Hopefully it's not another like we wait a year and then we drop it all at once, because the same thing happened to the Osan Newbie Adventurer. Both of those are really, really good shows, but I feel like when we drop things all in one day, you binge it and then you're done, and then nobody talks about it. So those kind of shows, I feel like, are the ones that deserve a little more credit, because Campfire Cooking is incredible. That's like right in my wheelhouse of like, I'm just a guy doing normal dude things, cooking and making food while you fall asleep, so that's got to be my answer for that one. Oh yes, Charlotte Perospero from One Piece. How did I go about coming up with this voice? So I'm a massive One Piece fan, like probably one of the biggest voice actor anime One Piece fans out there. One Piece was what got me into anime, not even Dragon Ball in the first place. It was One Piece. And it was the 4 Kids dub of One Piece. I don't even remember how old I was, but I thought the premise was so good. And like the fact you could eat these devil fruits and then you would gain the abilities of them was awesome. I didn't know that the anime continued or that the story continued beyond Alabasta. Because like that's where the dub kind of stopped. And so I fell off from it for like I want to say like 8 or 9 years, and I picked it up again in college, and they were already into at the end part of Dressrosa by the time that I had picked it up again. And so when I got in the manga, I started reading ahead, and so when the auditions came out for Whole Cake Island and Perospero, like I knew exactly who the character was. The anime has I think it may have almost started in Wano by the time we started doing Whole Cake, or was it the end of Whole Cake? So I knew what the Japanese voice actor sounded like, the Seiyu. And I want to, because I'm such a fan of like these shows I work on, I want to do the acting justice for the seiyus, like because we are a language option for English, and I feel it's important to capture the essence of what the initial performance was, because there's a reason they cast that actor in Japan, and there's a reason they cast you as it in the English. So trying to do it justice as best as you can. There's a character in an old musical called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang called the Child Catcher, and he's got a really long nose, and he's got a big top hat with lollipops. He has like a little candy cart, and he lures kids into it, and he takes them to the Baron and his wife. And if Perospero is not based off of him, at least a little bit, I would be highly disappointed, because there's a lot of parallels between them. And so his voice was very much like lollipops, ice cream, come candy, come children, come to me. And the Seiyu's performance, it starts with the laugh, as all One Piece characters do, which is that. So where does something like that land in my voice? It's in the back. So if I sort of where that is, where does the rest of the voice sort of come from? And we can play with it. It's kind of elastic, and the elasticity of it is a lot of fun to play with. And so combining the Japanese Seiyu performance and the performance that the other, I can't even tell you the name of the actor who the child catcher gives, I feel like we're the baseline for what I want a Perospero to be. And, he's a little bit floppy, so villains have a lot of fun. They have more fun than other characters, so you can make bigger choices with them. And that's how I came up with his voice. And I got more and more into it the further on in the show we got. I got more comfortable, because I knew when I got cast, he was a big role, right? So I wanted to. You're not really sure where the character is going to sit until like 10 episodes in for anything. You can only speak in one of my characters' voices for an entire day. Whose are you choosing? I mean, obviously, I'm doing like Makoto, just myself, or Red, even just like basic, because other voices do kind of put a strain on me. In some, it's a little bit of strain for certain things. If I did not have to worry about vocal strain in any way, I would want to do a full day of Pei Ming voice from Heaven Official's Blessing. Um, it's a little deeper in my register. It's a little more fun. Uh, but yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Do I like burgers? I love burgers. I love burgers. I love pizza. I don't know if you all have had Jet's Pizza before, but if you haven't and you have one near you, it is the best pizza I've ever had. 100%, no questions asked. I like smash burgers. I like pasta. My favorite food is pasta. There's a place here in Dallas called the Operators Club, and they essentially have a loaf of garlic bread that's hollowed out, and they fill it with fettuccine alfredo or marinara and pasta. It's insane. But yeah, burgers are great. Between Vigilantes and the main My Hero Academia series, which do you prefer and why? I don't know. This is a good question. I feel like they both have they're both different, right? I feel like Vigilantes is a bit grittier, even more gritty than the original My Hero. And I feel like there are more issues tackled in Vigilantes that are deep cutting right off the rip. It immediately establishes like this is not a world in which heroes really exist. You know, like this is a vigilante. This is a place that's run by kind of like the underbelly heroes, the ones that get their hands dirty for the greater good. And I really like that aspect of it. I love the original My Hero series. It's just a little different in terms of friendship based, you know. You know me from voicing Pei Ming and Heaven Official's Blessing, wondering, do I know anything about the books or learn anything about them before voicing the character? So no. I have learned everything about Pei Ming through fans who are TGCF fans who have come and told me like, oh, I can't wait for like this arc, like when he starts shipping people, like Pei Ming becomes like the number one wingman. And I like him because I don't normally play characters like that, which are like womanizing kind of characters that as an actor, it's always fun to stretch your muscles, you know, in ways that you don't. That's why I like playing villains. It's and like Pei Ming's definitely like a womanizer, you know, and he can be really rude to certain people. But also he does have kind of like a fun charm, like a bad boy charm that you don't know why it's there, but it is. And that's always fun to work with. But yeah, no, never knew anything about the character, and I'm still learning stuff. I'm always open and available to more information though, because I know it's a big series, and the fandom for it has exploded. Does my mindset change when voicing a legacy character like Superman? Okay, so whenever I got cast as Superman, it's I don't know. So most recently, for those of you who don't know, I play Superman in Batman Ninja versus Yakuza League, and it's it's luck, you know. It's luck, and it's the audition process. I never thought in a million years I was going to get an audition to play Superman, but I did, and you know when I booked it, I was even more thrilled. But also with that comes like a weird weight, you know. Uh, it's a movie, but it's like not a canon movie, you know, and so like I want to do the character justice, and he's not really he's a Superman variant, you know. It's not like I'm playing Clark Kent in the brand new DC TV show. It's a fun movie spinoff, but I did want to do him justice, and like knowing that he was like a darker version of the regular Superman and like a member of a Yakuza league was awesome. I feel like that's a character I don't normally get to play either. You know, he's more gruff and everything's down a little deeper. And I had a lot of fun stretching my muscles on that one. We're just adding my hero people to the DC universe slowly. The multiverse is expanding, as it were. Oh my gosh, Tomodachi game? Oh, nobody knows that show. Yeah, so I don't know anything outside the anime for Tomodachi game. As far as Makoto Shibe goes, um, I thought he's a jerk. You know, he's a jerk for sure, and the only information I had to go off of was that you know, like the Japanese voice of the character model. I didn't know his backstory. Unfortunately, because anime moves so fast, unless we have a lot of time to do research, it's like sometimes they don't even know what we're coming in for. Like for that character, I just knew I was in the show, didn't know who he was. So when I came in, I had zero insight as to like what he wanted, who he was, where he came from, his societal status, or anything like that. Luckily, with Vigilantes, you know, the whole manga's done now, so I've been able to read, and the more I know about number six and like his backstory, the easier it's going to be for me as an actor to drop in um, fun little things that I think fans will appreciate. I do hope it gets a season two as well. Tomodachi game. It's been a while though. What's my favorite anime and favorite season from that anime? So massive One Piece fan, and I know I haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, I haven't seen Demon Slayer. I know I would like them. Gosh, but it may be Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter may be my favorite anime, and my favorite arc is the York New City arc. I am hoping and praying every day that they continue to animate it. They could make the next, at least, like they could do like a little like a mini series before they get to the Dark Continent stuff. I would love to see more stuff from Hisoka. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I would love to see some more stuff animated. Who did I aspire to be like when I was growing up? Probably honestly Andy Serkis. Like that moment, like I remember leaving the movie theater for when Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers and thinking, dang, this guy is doing some really, really cool work. I would love to kind of like follow in those footsteps. Motion capture stuff is something I'm still relatively new to, but it's something that I think adds a whole new level and fun to a project. When you can not only use your voice like we do in voiceover work, but use your body to help tell a story. That's something I really, really want to do. What does my ideal day off look like? It depends on the time of the year. Honestly, like if I were to have the perfect day, let's say like there was like no money restraints, no restrictions, like I could teleport anywhere. I would love to spend a day in Italy. I'd love to go to Italy and pasta. I can't tell you, like, I could eat pasta for every meal and be totally fine with my life. Like, I'd never eat anything again. And Italy is a place I've always wanted to travel to. And I love the architecture. I love the history. I'm a big history nerd. So like I would go visit like the Colosseum, I would go visit old Greek, Roman places of importance, cultural significance, and I would just live my best life. My first impression of Kotaro Shimura when I read the script. He's somebody that had some trauma in his life. From the when I went in, I didn't know. I asked Colleen like who is this guy? Like what is he? He's like, and she gave me a brief rundown. So he's had trauma. He doesn't want his son to end up the same way as he did. And so he's trying to protect him. Most villains do not just do things because they're bad people. They do things because they had something in their past happen that made them that way or made them make the choices to get to that spot. If Shigaraki's life had not happened with his dad and gone slightly different, we may not be looking at the current timeline. Probably would not be for the My Hero universe. The whole scenario happens because people are making choices that they believe are best, and sometimes those choices are not best for everyone. But immediately when I was reading it, I thought like, all right, he's got some trauma. He's hiding something. He's doing something for his son that he will hopefully thank him for in the future. And I hadn't read the manga at that point, so I didn't know what was coming. Found out like the next day, like, oh, all right, well, was a good run. If I could be any other My Hero Academia character, who would I be and why? Any other character in the show, like if I could actually be that person, like if I was that person, I don't know. I love Aizawa. I think Aizawa is really cool. Like I wouldn't want to voice him. but I think just being him, his ability is so dope. And yeah, I love his storyline, and I love how nonchalant he is about everything. Opinions on Hatsune Miku. You know, I know who this is. I've never actually never actually watched any of the videos, but I know a lot of people cosplays Hatsune, and I know there's a lot of music that she has, but I have never actually done any research into her. I think she is she is an icon in the industry, obviously, and I love seeing all of the different artwork that people post because everyone has their different styles, and she's definitely got really cool hair. What kind of music do I like? Yeah, so I'm a big fan of 70s, 80s music. I prefer classic rock, typically, or some 80s metal. Like I'm talking like Quiet Riot, Twisted Sister, but also I do like Billy Joel, Bon Jovi, uh, Cheap Trick, things of that nature. And when I'm in the mood for it, 90s music always slaps. So NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, we're loving it all. And R&B. Those are my jams. I actually went to my first concert ever this last October when Green Day was in town, and it was surreal. The vocal cords that band has is nuts. They gave an amazing show when they were in Dallas.
What's your favorite Billy Joel song? Big fan of Billy Joel.
Um, I like moving out a lot, but just because I love the bum 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 bum, I love like the beat
Yeah.
behind it. But Piano Man is also really good too. Also like
I'm
Phil
from
Collins.
where Billy Joel grew up, so like he's a cultural thing for me. I had to ask a
He
few
oh,
songs.
does he tour anymore? I thought that
Yes,
okay, because I thought he only played Madison Square Garden anymore. I would love to
he
see him in concert.
yeah he goes more other places now. He kind of stopped doing the residency at Madison Square Garden
Oh,
because he used to
nice.
only be there. But you should definitely see him. He's very good.
Yeah, I would love to see him. I want to see him, and I wish that I had the chance to see Phil Collins, but he's got a lot of health issues. Best anime intro. Ooh, we're gonna start a war with this one. You know, I had a playlist on my phone for a while that had my favorite anime intros. Um, I think, well, no, I do have a new favorite one now. I think the Don to Don opening theme is probably my favorite. It used to be a One Piece theme called Kokoro no Chizu. Was from like season 4 or 5. But I think the Don to Don from Creepy Nuts has taken the top spot. Can I do Perospeto's iconic laugh for you? Yes. When I said it was a big gamer, what is my favorite video game? So I play classic World of Warcraft, like Season of Discovery. It's the game I probably play the most right now, but I also play a lot of a game called Age of Mythology, so I love RTS games. I'm a big fan of like flavor of the month games too, like I love Path of Exile, I love Baldur's Gate 3. Repo has been a lot of fun. But RTS games are what I consistently come back to whenever other things get dull. So, like Roller Coaster Tycoon is in my library. I also love the original Tomb Raider games, like 1 through 5. Those slap. Um, I've been meaning to get. Oh God, what is it? There's a new one that's it's not Repo, but it's something one, whatever that game is. I downloaded it recently. I have to look at my Steam. Favorite class in WoW? I'm playing a Boomkin right now. I used to be a Warlock main for years. I mean, I I played Warlock from TBC all the way through. I took some breaks here and there, but all the way through Shadowlands pretty much. Um, but Boomkin has become my new favorite class. I will always have a special place in my heart for the Warlock, but Moonkin and Druids are got to be where it's at. Is it any harder to dub over a Chinese anime rather than a Japanese one? It's harder to match the mouth movements. So that's a good question too. So the first time I did it, absolutely it is. Absolutely it was. When we listen to things for the first time, we are hearing the Japanese version, normally through the cans, which are the speakers that were the headphones we're listening to. But for donghuas, we have the Chinese or the Mandarin. And so the languages are so different, and there is not as much change in tonality during a donghua session. So for anything Heaven Official's Blessing or donghua that I've recorded, there's a lot of one tone. So we don't have as much wiggle room as we do on the J, where there's a lot more inflection and we can hear, okay, they're feeling this point, they're feeling this during this. So there is a bit of a challenge to overcome, and it's also strange hearing a different language while you're dubbing. I did something in French once for the English dub, and that was really hard too. It's just training your brain to recognize different vocal inputs and then try to take that information and put it into English. My favorite voice line from Majin Duu, probably when he's talking about his chocolate, or when Ku gives him the cookie or the chocolate bar. Anytime he's talking about his food, I just relate to that on like a level that I never relate to anything else. Do I enjoy playing Nakano? Yes. Waffle. That's my porgy you hear in the background. He's got a little hedgehog. Are you enjoying that, Bubba? Yes, he is. One moment. Come here, Bubba. Good boy. Yes. I did enjoy playing Nakano. I wish that we got a season 2 for Senko, because that was my first lead role ever, and it was my first intro into this is what it means to play a lead. This is going to be kind of like a crash course for me into dubbing. I learned a lot from that first show, and he is going at it on this hedgehog. I learned a lot from that first show, and there's enough manga material for a season 2. The manga's done now, so we can always hope it gets a Mish Kobayashi's Dragon Maid treatment, where we get one 7 years after the original one airs. It's a feel-good show. League of Legends, yeah! I played League a lot. I haven't really played. I don't even know what season it was. Probably the season I stopped playing a lot was the season after Aurelian Soul came into the game. Prior to that, I played every season. I played League so much. I was in I think the alpha for it. I have the UFO Corky skin. So I played a ton of League. The highest rank I ever got, I think, was probably Platinum 2, but that was early on, when people hadn't really done a lot of meta work on it and understood exactly what all the classes do, and AP Scion was still a thing, and he had the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. Mordekaiser is still to this day my favorite champion in that game. An improv scene in number 6's voice. I don't know that I could give you a good one yet. I've only read up to I think it's 84 or 85. So obviously a couple things have happened with him, and I have ideas though. I have ideas for when he is in his villain mode and when he is in his villain but not villain mode, if that makes sense. And then his other forms on top of that. Like I've got some really cool ideas that I can't wait to work with the director on. Um, yeah, I think his personality is going to be a lot of fun to play with. My favorite moment in SpongeBob, oh my god, the Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me. That part, whenever he is with he and I don't remember if he's with Patrick and they're with Manta Ray. If that's even his name, Manta Man. It's one of those things. But he's like, really, really? Yes, really, 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 really. That whole superhero arc in SpongeBob is top tier, in my opinion. Oh, this is a good question. If I was not a voice actor, I can tell you 100% certainty I would be an archaeologist. Because I was going to be an archaeologist until I saw Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers, and then Andy Serkis changed my whole life. I was a big fan. I had like a big dream of like doing like uh, uh, Harrison Jones stuff, Indiana Jones kind of adventures, going into tombs and like unexplored crypts and like finding treasures and things like that. And like my love of history has never faded. It will always be here. I will always think history is super interesting. Like medieval history, Roman history, anything prior to like 12 or 1300 AD is super interesting to me. So I would definitely be an archaeologist digging in the desert or something somewhere. We have a dream role or project that I still want to do. Honestly, they just announced JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7, and I would love to be in that in some way, shape, or form. Steel Ball Run is one of my favorite arcs of all of the parts. Um, I feel like it's right up there with part 3 for me. I could travel back to any point in time. When and where would it be? Uh I don't know. This is also a really good question because like the further back in time you go, the more dangerous it gets, right? To be a human just in general because like people are like have their heads cut off for things or like punishments are severe or like, like places don't exist after a certain point in time or before a certain point in time. So I would I think I would love to go back in time and see like the pinnacle of the Roman Empire, if anything. Uh I'm obsessed with Roman architecture and like would love to see the fully reconstructed Temple of Zeus with all the opulent things, a fully functional Colosseum. I'd love to see all of those things in the prime. Like when people were using them, they were brand new. Yeah, that's 100% what I would do. My favorite JoJo character, Jotaro. I don't think I can test that anyway. I think Jotaro and Star Platinum are my two favorites. Waffles or pancakes? For the texture, waffles. Um, for eating the most of pancakes. I really like that with waffles, you can take a big old thing of butter, slap it over the top of it, and each little crevice fills in with butter. And like it's like a little explosion of flavor every time you hit one of them. Waffles are really good and they're crispy. Crispy waffles are the best. Have I ever been recognized in real life by an anime fan? No. That's one of the cool things about being a voice actor is you retain anonymity. Oh no, anonymity. Oh my god, you retain anonymity. Oh my god, the word anonymity. I had to quadruple check it there. And yeah, you retain anonymity whenever you're a voice actor. I was with Cliff Chapin and Kristen McGuire once though, and we were at the Renaissance Festival here that's local, and somebody recognized him when he was talking for Bakugo, and they came over and they're like, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, we're just trying to shoot bow and arrows at the Ren Fair. But they took one, and it was so wholesome. It was a fun moment. But no, I have not been recognized. Thank goodness. Plan to go any cons for meet and greets? Yeah, I'm always open and available for cons. I've got a few scheduled for later this year. I'm hoping that we with the veracity and how much people enjoyed My Hero that Vigilantes kind of picks up, and then I'm able to go to more events and meet people, because my favorite thing is nerding out with other people who enjoy the things that we work on. Yeah, I'd love to come to things. So if you're interested, let me know and I can send you to my agent. I got a couple coming out this year. Do I play Fortnite? No, I do not. Alexander the Great. I don't know a lot about him other than like he was a brilliant military strategist and he went around and he conquered a bunch of places. Was it the most ethical conquering? No. But he did pave the way for the Roman Empire to become like the strongest power in the world for hundreds of years. An anime recommendation for anyone. I'm trying to think of something that I'm not in. My number one recommendation that I will always recommend to people is Hunter x Hunter, if you haven't seen it. And then my second top recommendation is Akame ga Kill. I love both of those shows. Do I hang out or do anything with my fellow voice actors outside of voice acting work? Yes. Do escape rooms with Rico Fajardo, Danny Chambers, Bryson Bogus. I do hang out occasionally. When I say I'm a video gamer, like I don't go outside very much. I go on walks and stuff, but I spend a majority of my time playing video games. I don't make the first move when people are like, let's go do something. I wait to be invited because I don't like spending money on things. that's just the way that I am. So if I can stay inside and play video games, I'm probably saving more money than going out with most friends. Luckily, I do have friends that drag me out of the house and I do things with, like Rico and Bryson. Do I rewatch or listen to own work after it airs? For a long time, I did. When I first started, like I'll go back and I'll listen to stuff, and I found it to be extremely unhelpful because I have changed so much as a person and an actor since I first started that like it's like a night and day difference between my performances. Like the way I played Nakano in 2018 is not the way I would play Nakano today. I just have an entirely different field of view on what anime voice acting is. And it's not helpful to me to go back anymore and watch stuff. What I will do is I will watch a show that I am really proud of the work that I have done. So like Osan Newbie Adventurer came out a couple months ago, was really proud of the work that I had done in that particular show. It's a fun comedy and everyone did a great job. And I wanted to see how my comedic timing was on certain things. Had a lot of fun working on that one. I feel like I say I have a lot of fun working on a lot of things, but that's just the way that I am. What's something I irrationally hate recording? Screams, breaths, laughs, etc. Power up things. Power up things are abysmal to do. And only because like I haven't adequately trained my breath capacity to do like a 20-second scream. It's very hard for me to do like extended periods of screaming breaths. But I've started, and I'll have time to work on it over the next few years as we progress in Vigilantes. I've started breathing through a straw for 30 minutes every day. That should help expand my lung capacity. How fun is it on a scale of 1 to 10? Voice acting number 6. Honestly, he's the coolest. Is the coolest character that I've ever got the chance to voice. I've only had one line with him, or two or three, but knowing what's coming and knowing the different levels I'm going to get to play with, he's going to instantly be my number one character of all time that I've got to voice. I'm just thrilled to be a part of the show. My favorite part of the job. I love that I get to go in a booth, use my voice, and give life to something that is inanimate. That's always been my the exciting thing to me about voice acting is like giving life to something that if you took all the voices away would have no life otherwise. It's also the hours are great. Like I go in for a couple hours every week, do my thing, and I can chill at home the rest of the time. I can play with my dogs. Like I can do other life things and not have to be at work 10 to 6 or 9 to 5 every day. Like I do auditions and like it's, every day is a new audition, do audition for different projects. You don't get cast in a lot, you get cast in a couple. And I wouldn't change that for anything. Do I feel like I relate with the characters I voice act for? Is there a way I see myself as them? Not always. Like Makoto and Rick are two really good examples of characters who like I am those people. Like I'm happy, I love to cook, like I love comedy and shy in some places, a scaredy cat in other places. Those are two examples of really good characters that I relate with entirely. Some characters that I don't really relate with, which are typically the more fun ones to play, are people who have motives that I don't have as Aaron. People like Perospero from One Piece, or like Raichi is a total asshole to a bunch of people. And like I'm not like that to people, but it's fun to play people like that. I'm not a womanizer, but Pei Ming is fun to play because he's that way. So I would say that there are certain things in each character that I look for that I can try to attach something to that will kind of anchor me in. Like, okay, I can relate with them on this thing. Like he's being sympathetic here. All right, I can relate to that, but not every character will have something that I immediately am like, yes, I relate to this. How's the experience of recording Kotaro Shimura? Quick, very fast. It was like a day. Well, actually, it wasn't even a day. It was like 30 minutes, that episode. Because I think I played Kotaro and Majestic right around the same time. And, both of them are very quick characters. So it's like in and out. When you have those quick 30-minute sessions, you don't really remember much about them in particular. What I remember about that is like trying to add a weight to it because I knew how important it was for the rest of the story. I want to ask you all a question, though. I do want to know how far you think this season of Vigilantes is going to get up to, and if there is another season, where you think the stopping point for that will be. But while you think of that, can I say Chicken Jockey in my number 6 voice from the Minecraft movie? I've seen those clips going around. Yeah. Chicken Jockey! Chicken Jockey. What social media can you follow me on? I don't know if I post there if everybody can see that, but that's the link to my Twitter. It's the same for my Instagram as well, just Aaron Campbell VO.